The number of people who shop Cyber Monday online grows as the number of internet users grow. So the more people that are on the internet, the more people will possibly shop on Cyber Monday. This growth is modeled by this P of X, where X is measured in years. And that P must stand for this percentage that we're going to be asked about. So we are plugging in years, and we're getting out percent of users shopping Cyber Monday. And this is where X is 0 corresponds to the beginning of 2005. So we're looking at this first step that says how many online buyers as a percent of internet users were there in the beginning of 2012. So we want to look at 2012, which is where X equals what? So if X is 0 corresponds to 2005, how many years later is 2012? We're looking at 7 years later, seeing what percent of online users are shopping on Cyber Monday. So we'll have more people using the internet, most likely between 2005 and 2012. And then we'll also have the popularity of Cyber Monday going up. So let's see what percent, if we plug in 38 and then we have 7 raised to the 0.21, we're getting 57.18% of users shopping on Cyber Monday. The next part says, what was the average rate of change? Average rate of change means we're going to use the slope formula. In the number of online buyers as a percent of internet users between 2005 and 2012. So I'm going to plug into the slope formula, f of b minus f of a. We're going to compare the y values, subtract difference in y's over difference in x's, b minus a, and see what we get. So we're going to plug in between 2005 was x equals 0. They gave us that. And then we said 2012 is x equals 7. So we'll do p of 7 minus p of 0 over 7 minus 0. We already know from the first part that p of 7 is 57.18. We just did that in part A. Now we plug in 0 to the original equation. So I'm going to go into this original equation and do 38 times 0 to the 0.21. Well, 38 times 0 to any power is just going to be 0, divided by a 7-year period. So we have 57.18 divided by 7, and we're going to get 8.168. I'm just going to round to 2 decimal places, about 8.17. And now we just calculated a rate of change. So I want to put both units on this. 2 units, it's going to be percent of users per year. So what does that answer mean? We got a positive slope. So it would say on average, the percent of users shopping Cyber Monday was, and it's a positive slope, so was increasing. If we got negative, we would say it was decreasing. Was increasing by 8.17% per year, at least between 2005 and 2012. It might not always be increasing by 8%. In fact, we're getting to the point where, there's already 90% of the people shopping on Cyber Monday or something like that. So it wouldn't continue to keep growing by 8% always, because at some point you're going to get over 100% or too close to 100% where it's really not realistic that many people are shopping. But between 2005 and 2012, there's an increase of 8% of users shopping on Cyber Monday per year. The next part says how fast, so I have a change word here, definitely going to use either the slope or the derivative. How fast was the number of online buyers as a percentage of internet users changing at the beginning of 2012? So it doesn't say average change again, it just says change at the instant 2012. So we're going to take the derivative of our function, which is written at the top here, 38x to the 0.21. I'm going to bring it down here. The original function p of x was 38, and then we have x to the 0.21. So when we take the derivative of that, we're going to bring down the power and subtract 1 for the new power. So I'm going to grab my calculator and do 38 times 0.21, which is 7.98. And then I need to do 0.21 minus 1. Bring down the power, subtract 1 for the new power. So 0.21 minus 1 gives me a negative 0.79. I could make that into a fraction if that makes it easier to plug into your calculator, because that x to a negative exponent could be put in the denominator. I think it's easier to just leave it like this. So for 2012, I'm going to plug in just like this. But if you wanted to put negative exponents in the denominator, that's totally correct as well. So we're going to do p prime of 7 and do 7.98 times 7 to the negative 0.79. And it's rate of change, so we're going to put 2 units on this. We're going to get 1.72% per year. So in 2012, the percent of people, or percent of internet users really, so percent of users shopping Cyber Monday was doing what? Increasing or decreasing if we got a positive derivative? Was increasing by 1.72% per year. So our average rate of change was way up at 8% per year, but that was between 2005, before Cyber Monday was really a thing, and then 7 years into having Cyber Monday. It was growing by 8% of people per year, or internet users per year. So pretty big jumps. And then by 2012, already in 2012, we said that majority of people using the internet were shopping Cyber Monday. It's already up to almost 60% of users, and then it's still increasing by almost 2% per year. So it's going to slow down at some point, because again, you can't get over 100%. So 8% jumps between 2005 and 2012, and then at 2012, the percent of people shopping on Cyber Monday is still increasing, but only by 1.72% of users per year.